happen in my lifetime. Oh, I'll be long gone before that ever happens. That will never happen. Really? No, they'll never be able to read my thoughts. Never be able to see what I'm thinking or see what I'm not thinking. They'll never know that. They'll never know whether I'm tired or not. Really? Look at this. So look at this, you all. If you say not in your lifetime, oh no, this is in your lifetime. This is in your lifetime. They have the technology to get inside your head. They do. No, I've got my mind completely guarded. They'll never be able to recognize anything like that. Really? You think your employer would not be able to? With the advent, Gina, you're trying to get my chair situated, you all. I don't know what's going on down here. Hello. So yes, in your lifetime, you really do need to hear this. I'm going to let you hear it. This is the World Economic Forum. This is one of the speakers here. Oh, look at the timestamp we're sitting at. 10 minutes and 44 seconds. So I'm just going to hold this like this. I just want you all to hear just a tad bit. And I hope that you can hear it. Can you all hear me? That spiral was a sign. What kind of spiral? You seen a spiral somewhere, you all? Hola, bom dia, bonjour, salut. Yes, hello, you all. I can assure you, yes, in your lifetime, that you'll never be around when I'll never be here when the mark of the beast comes. I'll never be here when the Antichrist comes. I'll never be here when the world is taken over and it's a new world. We'll be long gone and out of here, will you really? Yes. The spiral at Aurora, I don't know what Aurora is. I don't, but let's listen to this, you all. That it never happened in my lifetime. Some people may say that. Listen to this right here.
Which is probably why in more than 5,000 companies across the world, employees are already having their brainwave activity monitored to test for their fatigue levels. Whether it's the Beijing-Shanghai line, where train conductors are required to wear hats that have sensors that pick up their brain activity, or mining companies throughout the world, employees are already having their brain activity monitored, and it very well may be something that we want to embrace as a society. Okay, you might be shuddering, right? That was certainly my first reaction when I discovered that we are tracking brainwave activity in the workplace and that we can do it at all. But I believe we need to have a much more nuanced conversation about it, because I think done well, neurotechnology has extraordinary promise. Done poorly, it could become the most oppressive technology we've ever introduced in a wide scale across society.
They're scanning people's brain waves, and they do have the technology. They have baseball caps that have like a chip in them that literally scan what you're thinking in your head. What you're thinking in their head. And they're pushing this technology. Let me show you this. This is, shoot. Let me get to the ball cap that you're talking about, woman. Let me get to this ball cap down here, you all. Yes. Oh, it will not let me get to it for the life of me. Let's see about this.
Starting to go from being alert to tired well before it occurred. And he could have done so through a simple hat, a simple wearable hat that has embedded electrode sensors that would pick up brainwave activity and give a score between 1 to 5 to help the employer and the employee know what stage of alertness the person was experiencing and whether or not they were starting to fall asleep. Now, you might think, okay, we have driver assist technology in cars already. Why do we need this? It's because this happens much sooner, much more accurately, and it gives you the real-time information that you need in order to make choices to intervene before a person is perilously exhausted.
So they are decoding brainwaves. They have the technology. She even put her brainwave on the monitor so people could see it. She did, and it's part of the metaverse also. It is. So you may say, well, that will never happen in our lifetime. Technology is evolving at such an enormous rate. It's so fast, you can't keep up with it. You cannot keep up with the technology, you all. It's not happening. She's talking about the neurons firing in your brain, you all. You got some neurons, Gina, honey? We know about the neurons in your brain. Yeah, we do. That's right, you all. Let's look at this. Let me hear it. It'll never happen in your
Davos,
lifetime.
it's been the talk of the hour. But I want to talk about it in a different way, which is the ability to decode brainwave activity. After all, what you think, what you feel, it's all just data. Data that in large patterns can be decoded using artificial intelligence. Consider this: the average person thinks thousands of thoughts each day. As a thought takes form, like a math calculation, you're happy, you're tired, you're hungry, you're elated. Neurons are firing in your brain, emitting tiny electrical discharges. As a particular thought takes form, hundreds of thousands of neurons fire in characteristic patterns that can be decoded with EEG, or electroencephalography, and AI powered devices. In fact, what you're seeing here is my brain activity while I'm wearing a simple device like the one on the right. We're not talking about implanted devices of the future. I'm talking about wearable devices that are like Fitbits for your brain. It used to be that there was very little we could tell from EEG activity. But already, using consumer wearable devices, these are headbands, hats that have sensors that can pick up your brainwave activity.
Hats with sensors. So you would not even know. You could buy a hat at a store and it could have a sensor in it. And who knows who's monitoring your brain waves. This is happening in our lifetime. It really is. She says something else which is really interesting about how they can do it. Listen to this, you all, because this is wild. It's so wild. Of course, we've known about this for years, and it's kind of like taboo. You're not supposed to talk about it until, but yeah, it's coming out. It's coming fast, so you better talk about it.
Earbuds, headphones, tiny tattoos that you can wear behind your ear. We can pick up emotional states like, are you happy or sad or angry? We can pick up and decode faces that you're seeing in your mind. Simple shapes.
They can decode the faces that you're thinking about in your mind, that you're seeing in your mind. They can use earbuds. They can use a tattoo that goes behind your ear. They can listen and they can see what you're seeing in your mind and draw a picture of it. They can visualize it. They can see it all, you all, in your brain. And you may say, well, my thoughts are my own thoughts. Well, not no more. It's like that civics class where they said, what if the new rulers, if aliens were to invade the earth, or visitors from outer space, what if the visitors from outer space did not think of privacy the same way that you thought about privacy? That's what that civics class was. And we did a video on it, you all. We really did. And in this instance, AI, or the technology, which you may consider private, it's not private. You are a mineable body. You are data, and they're going to mine your body. They're going to hack the human body. They're going to hack the human mind. This is what's happening, you all.
Numbers, your PIN number to your bank account.
They can even find out your PIN number to your bank account when you think about it in your head. Could you imagine that? If they wanted to hack into you, and you think, well, I've got this secret number, I got my PIN number to get in my account. Oh, they can find that out too with the technology, with the help of AI. This is, I don't like to look too much into this stuff because of the mere fact that it is a very, very intrusive. And if this falls in the wrong hand, I don't know what she's doing right there. She getting her a drink of water in a glass bottle. You go ahead and you have that drink of water. Oh my goodness gracious. Let's see. Okay, let's see. Cognitive. Cognitive. Look at this. Look. You think your mind is locked? Oh, it's not. Self-determination, cognitive liberty, mental privacy, cognitive liberty, mental privacy, freedom of thought. I think that's going to be out the door. She's talking about freedom of thought, you all. Look at this. There will be no freedom of thought. Your thoughts will not be your own. You're just like the thought police. You want the thought police to come. Wasn't there a movie that if you even think about it, they're coming get you? Really, this is not sci-fi. This is happening in our lifetime, you all. It really is. Oh, I thought it was vodka too, Blackjack Gator. I thought it looked like a bottle of vodka. I don't drink, but I know what that looks like. I really did thought it was a bottle of vodka. Oh my goodness gracious.
But that's not enough. We have to do more, and corporations or other kinds of health, it can be something that unlocks X. Surveillance of the human brain can be powerful, helpful, useful, transform the workplace, and make our lives better.
Did you hear that? Surveillance of the human brain can be helpful and it can make our lives better. Look, she is pushing this, and you know that she's thinking, I don't really want to have to push this, but she has got to push this at the WEF. Let's see, what did you have to say? 1839. 1839. Let's go up a little bit more, you all. It's going to be helpful to do your mind.
So they introduced together mode, which has the same shared background for each of the people.
No.
Slows down when we need to slow down and helps us to reset so that we don't suffer from endless cycles of stress. In fact, Microsoft recently did a study on employees during the pandemic. Using brainwave activity, they were able to discover a couple of interesting insights. One is Zoom-based or other video-based meetings are more tiring for our brains than in-person conversations. And this is because of misaligned gaze, because of also the way we've scheduled it. People did back-to-back meetings where you had 5-minute breaks in between. They also discovered something else that's quite interesting, which is that the different backgrounds for each person is also more stressful for the brain. So they introduced together mode, which has the same shared background for each of the people who are on the screen, which brings down stress levels, all responsive to brainwave activity. These are innovations that can make our lives better. So what's the pathway forward?
Listen to her.
In some ways and in some contexts, surveillance of the human brain can be powerful, helpful, useful, transform the workplace, and make our lives better. It also has a dystopian possibility of being used to exploit and bring to the surface our most secret self. It threatens fundamentally what our own self-identity is in some ways, and threatens to become a tool of oppression. But we can make a choice. We can make a choice to use it well. We can make a choice to have it be something that empowers individuals, that helps them gain insights into their own mental health and well-being, improves their own productivity and wellness, and sets them on a pathway where, like quantifying your heart rate or other kinds of health, it can be something that unlocks potential for humanity. We can't decode speech, and we may never decode full thoughts from the brain using simple wearable devices. But that
She said they can't decode the brain or speech wearing simple wearable devices. I'm wondering what she's going to say after that. If you can't do it wearing simple wearable devices, because she's literally talking about the brain. She really is. She says we, that's right, we. Well, it's the whoever it is. Well, she's thinking plural, we as a whole, but we as a whole really is a group of individuals. I have no desire to decode your brain, you all. I do not. I have no desire, if you're at work and you're tired, or you're thinking something, I don't want to know your thoughts. I don't, especially if you don't like me, or especially if you're thinking something that I shouldn't be thinking about, or especially if you're worried. Why do I want to know, read your mind? Okay, it's like we got enough going on in our own mind than to have the ability to have your employer read your mind. Yes, like ESP, but they're going to have AI do it, you all. AI going to do it. So we can't decode your words or something language or your thoughts with a simple wearable device. I'm wondering, what is she going to propose? What is she going to propose? So let's see. They got the big tangle. He's pulling at the brain. He's got a square head. He's a cube-like body. He's a paper cut out. What's she going to say, you all?
That doesn't mean that there isn't a lot we can already decode. There isn't a lot that we will not be able to decode in the coming days. As AI becomes more powerful, as the sensors become more powerful.
She said there's not a lot that we can't decode in the coming days. She didn't say weeks, she said days. In the coming days. Whoever she is.
More and more of what's in the brain will become transparent.
More and more of what's in your brain will become transparent. Well, we all like transparency, so we would like to know what's in the brain of all the politicians around the world. Let's put it on a big old screen, really. Put it on the screen, all these major players in the world. Let us see their thoughts. Don't let them see our thoughts. We want to see the people in power. We want to see their thoughts, not just the populace of the world. No, let us see the thoughts of the people who put forth the technology out there. We want to see your thoughts and where your thoughts are, what you are hoping to gain by this technology concerning the human race. We want to know your thoughts, not you, not the vice versa. It's a two-way street, so we want to know both ways. We do.
I believe we have to start by recognizing a right to cognitive liberty. This is a right to self-determination over our brains and mental experiences. It requires that we update existing international human rights like freedom of thought, mental privacy, and self-determination over our own mental experiences. But that's not enough. We have to do more.
They have to update the thing to right of freedom of thought. They're going to have to update, like you got freedom of speech. Now they're going to have to say you've got freedom of thought. Freedom of thought. If they do not update and put that into some type of some kind of rights, you will not have freedom of thought. You won't. She's right. You won't. They can say they want to do that, but she's not the one calling the shots. She's not the one calling the shots, you all.
And corporations have to adopt best practices for the implementation of this technology. That requires being transparent about what data is being collected and for what purposes.
Oh my gosh. The cooperations have to be transparent when you are more or less, if you work for somebody and they are monitoring your brain waves and your thoughts, they have to, that's kind of tricky. That really is. They may say, you want to work here, we're going to know your every thought. We're going to monitor your thoughts.
Focusing on positive uses for employees to improve their workplace productivity.
No, I don't need to wear something on my head to improve my work ethic. I don't. I think I'm fully capable of giving my best when I'm at work. What if someone is not able to do as much work as the other individual? Or what if they are a little slow at learning? Is it going to be, everybody's going to be held to the same standard? Are you going to be the one in control? Is the technology going to be the one in control of the human being and take out the human factor, the mediator, the technology itself, because it ain't going to have no compassion towards you. It's not. It's going to do, what is the medium? It's going to do a graph, and wherever you fall, wherever it is, the medium, boom, everybody's going to get graded like that. You don't want to be graded. You don't want to be rated against a high achiever because they're going to expect a whole lot more out of you, especially if you can't pump that out, but somebody else can, and they include that in their data and they have a level that you cannot reach. They're already doing it in some companies. They're already doing it. If you do not bring up to your work up to speed, if you cannot meet your quota, you're out the door. I don't care if you're owed, they say. I'm sorry, but it is what it is, they're saying. It is what it is. Okay.
Increase safety and decrease the burdens on individuals. We also have to be mindful of the changing landscape of biometric laws as this information becomes part of the workplace environment.
Biometric laws. Did she just say biometric laws as this becomes part of the workplace environment? This is going to be worldwide, and it's all about productivity. It's all about productivity. Oh my gosh, you all, look at this.
Also have to be mindful of the changing landscape of biometric laws as this information becomes part of the workplace environment and decide to move forward in a way that is best for humanity, using the technologies in ways that enable us on a pathway forward rather than oppress us. I think that's a possibility we can still choose.
She thinks that's a possibility we can still choose between the betters us or oppresses us. If it falls into the wrong hands, humanity will be oppressed. It doesn't matter how old you are, how young you are, how rich you are, how poor you are. It doesn't matter what country you come from. None of it matters. If it falls into the wrong hand, it's going to be oppressive and they will not be able to control it. They won't be able to control it. To me, that's oppressive because you're invading my space. You telling me that if I have to go to a job and you're telling me we're going to monitor your brain waves as you're here on this job, or you do not, we're going to monitor your biometric data, or you will not have a job at this place. I'm sorry. I don't want a job like that. I will not do a job like that. Now, there'll be a lot of people say, I will not do it. Oh, you'll have a choice. You will either agree to the biometric stuff, because everything really is on a minute level, microscopic level, biometric level, monitor everything about your body. It's like you are not your own. You were bought with a price. But I don't want you to own me. I don't want you to have that type of right to my body. I don't want you to get inside my body and read my thoughts. It's like your spouse. Well, you know how I am. You should know what I would do. Well, they'll know even better than you. They'll know even better than you. They've already said let's see it.
I hope it's one that you'll join me in choosing.
Oh, no, what'd she say?
For the implementation of this technology. AI becomes more powerful as the sensors become more powerful. More and more of what's in the brain will become transparent. I believe we have to start by recognizing a right to cognitive liberty. This is a right to self-determination over our brains and mental experiences. It requires that we update existing international human rights like freedom of thought, mental privacy, and self-determination over our own mental experiences.
Update international human rights. We got to update international human rights to include this. If they do not update it, you will have none of this. If they do not update basic human rights, you won't have any rights. Because right now, that's not covered. That's not covered at all. Informational self-access? Self-access? Access to your stuff? Look at that. Informational self-access. It's like, what type of thoughts did you get from my brain? Okay, I saw you scanning my brain. You were scanning my brain. What did you take from my brain? Really, more or less. What kind of thoughts did you steal from me? Did you take from me? I did not give you permission to do it. But if your employer thinks, well, you work for this company, we will take whatever we want. Um, don't worry, be happy and have nothing. Let's hear. Okay, she wants us to join her in doing something. Look at this, got this stuff all over. They'll know whether you have love feelings. They'll know whether you're sad, you're happy. I don't know what they'll know if you got pills in your body. They got medicine that literally does go through your body and gathers information too. Let's hear what she has to say before interrupting.
But that's not enough. We have to do more, and corporations have to adopt best practices for the implementation of this technology. That requires being transparent about what data is being collected and for what purposes. Focusing on positive uses for employees to improve their workplace productivity, increase safety, and decrease the burdens on individuals. We also have to be mindful of the changing landscape of biometric laws as this information becomes part of the workplace environment, and decide to move forward in a way that is best for humanity, using the technologies in ways that enable us on a pathway forward rather than oppress us. I think that's a possibility we can still choose. I hope it's one that you'll join me in choosing.
Wow. Yes, we want to move forward without being oppressed. We do. The battle for your brain. They're battling for your brain. This is the World Economic Forum. She was one of the speakers, and I would not have want to been in her shoes to try to persuade people to go forward with that. I do not want to do something like that because that would be totally against my conscience. I don't want to know what you're thinking, and how's that going to improve workplace? You can give incentives in the workplace, you can give pep talks, but there's some people you will not improve their work habits, their work ethics. They'll move even slower. Yeah, they'll move even slower. And if you've got unions, well, these people will be protected by the unions, they will. So there's some people who will not. No. So they are going to be implementing it. This is in our lifetime, and some countries are already doing it. They're requiring their employees to wear hats, wear helmets where they can monitor their brain waves. And with the help of AI, I think she's still speaking. I think she's still going to speak. Let me see. She's sitting with this guy from the Atlantic newspaper guy right here. What's she doing?
Complexity of thought and emotional understanding that you can have from sophisticated brainwave readers.
So, I am a futurist. I'm not a perfect predictor of the future, but I'll give you my 1 year, 5 year tenure. So, focusing in the world of wearable technology as opposed to implanted technology. And I do believe that within many of our lifetimes, we'll see healthy people using implanted brain technology as well. Then we can decode complex thought. But wearable brain technology, I think in 1 year, we will be largely where we are now, but with much better form factor technologies. And many companies are launching these earbuds and headphones this year that have sensors that are built in. One of the things.
Oh, did you hear this? Many companies are already using headphones and earbuds that have the technology in them. If you're required to wear these, that's within this year, whenever this was, you all. This is her timeline for the future. Well, we got to look at it. We need to see some pixelation coming out of her. We do. I don't know who she is, but we want to see her pixelation. Are you human? We want to know if you're human. We do. Let's see if you're human, but we really want to hear what she had to say, her timeline.
This year that have sensors that are built in. One of the things that has limited the widespread adoption of the technology.
Where does this explain where we'll be in 1 year, where we'll be in 5 years, and where you would estimate would be in 10 years in the complexity of thought and emotional understanding that you can have from sophisticated brainwave readers?
So, I am a futurist.
Sophisticated brainwave readers, where are we going to be in 1 year, 5 years, and 10 years? Sophisticated brainwave readers. If you're just tuning in, she's going to tell us a timeline of sophisticated brainwave readers. What can we expect? This came out of the World Economic Forum. They're telling us what's coming. So we ought to be thankful that they allow us to view this online, and it's fully available to the public. So let's hear. We want to know. This is awareness.
I'm not a perfect predictor of the future, but I'll give you my 1 year, 5 year, 10 year. So focusing in the world of wearable technology as opposed to implanted technology. And I do believe that within many of our lifetimes, we'll see healthy people using implanted brain technology as well.
You'll see healthy people with implanted brain technology in your lifetime.
Then we can decode complex thought. But wearable brain technology, I think in 1 year, we will be largely where we are now, but with much better form factor technology. So many companies are launching these earbuds and headphones this year.
Earbuds and headphones this year, many companies. Do you work for a company that has earbuds and headphones? Do you? This would mainly be, well, it could be any company where you have headphones and earbuds in a manufacturing. Oh, no, earbuds. Oh, wow, you all. Gina, would you please quit interrupting that lady and let her speak without you interrupting her? I can do it, you all. I can do it. I can do it, you all. We can do it. We're going to find out their plan, because we got to know. We got to we got to recognize it. You may think you may think that, oh, they gave us some headphones and some earbuds. That's so nice of them. Well, you need to know if it's that certain type. If it's a brainwave reader, then it's not so nice of them, because they're going to read your brainwave. So you're going to have to keep your thoughts pure. Okay, let's look about it.
That have sensors that are built in. One of the things that has limited the widespread adoption of the technology until now has been that you have to wear something like across your forehead. Most of us aren't going to do that. But when it's the same device that you're using to take calls from and also to listen to music from, that also is picking up brainwave activity, it's integrated into your everyday life. Because of that, the decoding will largely be in the same place a year from now, but as healthy people in a widespread way start to have their brainwave data collected, the insights that we can gain through pattern recognition will exponentially increase, and pretty quickly. So 5 years from now, what we can actually decode will be massively increased from where we are today, simply because we'll have a much greater data set from which we can actually create those correlations. Again, that's frightening but promising, because think about most of neurological disease and suffering are those disruptions of brain activity, which we'll start to be able to pick up. 10 years from now, even wearable technology, I don't think is going to decode complex thoughts, but it is going to decode a lot more. And already, gamers have figured out, for example, while a person is wearing a headset, how to prime a person through their brainwave activity to be able to decode their PIN number and their home address. So you don't have to have your full complex thought decoded to reveal your thoughts, right? It gets at what we think thought is.
And how do you decode somebody's PIN number? You flash a series of numbers and see how their brain reacts to them?
So you have recognition memory signals that are preconscious and subconscious, and this is part of why it's been used, for example, by governments to interrogate criminals. Do you recognize this potential co-conspirator? Do you recognize, this murder weapon? Those preconscious signals, like what we call the P300 wave or the N400 wave, these are before you even consciously process information. So you could prime it with a number and then see if a person recognizes it. And you can do it without them realizing that that's what you're doing.
So will all of our passwords be cracked first by this or quantum computing? Hard to tell. All right.
I think we're moving past.
So this is the future. Implantable, wearable, and they won't be able to truly decipher complex thoughts. So if you are a complex thinker, a very, very, very deep thinker, and you're an analyzer and stuff, they should not be able to dissect it or decipher, decipher it, you all. Gina, how can you remain so calm? It's like, you know it's coming. It's in this lifetime. It's already being implemented. If your employer is going to give you some headphones, the same ones you use in your calls, your at-home calls, or earbuds, they're going to be doing your brain waves. The technology is already out there, she said. She is a futurist. This lady is a futurist. We did not ask it. T-Rex, it doesn't matter what humanity asked for. It's the handful of a handful of a few that has decided for the bulk of humanity. It's probably even less than 1% of the world. It's probably less than 0.05% of the world. There's no telling. The power could be in the hand of maybe 10 people, 10 beings. But then one day, the power is going to be totally in the hand of one being, one artificial intelligent being that will have absolute power over humanity. Oh my goodness gracious, you all.
Passwords pretty quickly. And it's
saw a hand go
actually
up.
really good for passwords. Neural signatures are unique. We can use it as a biometric for passwords.
Oh, wonderful. Right here in the front.
Did you hear that? Neural receptors are good. We can use it as a biometric for passwords. They can get your passwords. Are you so happy about that, lady? Her's a little baby. Yes, her's so happy. She's so happy. We're glad you're so happy. You are a futurist. Yes, I'm sure you are really into your work. There are people who they live and breathe their work. Live and breathe it, you all.
All right.
I think we're moving past passwords pretty quickly. And
I saw a
it's
hand
actually
go up.
really good for passwords. Neural signatures are unique. We can use it as a biometric for passwords.
Neural signatures is a biometric for passwords. Neural signatures, I don't know how that would work. Neural signature for a password? 333-183. Can you give this video a thumbs up, you all? Red peel, honey. Yeah, that's right. Gina, honey, how'd you find this? I was looking at speakers, and somehow she decided to pop up on the World Economic Forum. She decided to pop up.
Oh, wonderful. Right here in the front. Oh, and by the way, we need to get you a microphone. There are folks watching, so hold on. There we go.
This is amazing stuff.
Thanks.
And there is a ton of need for government rule setting in this.
Yeah.
Not to be pessimistic on it, but having worked in government and seeing the number of things that government needs to try and get ahead of,
Right.
I am pessimistic that government is going to be on this.
Yes.
You know, if you were for instance, the World Economic Forum, and you were speaking to leaders from across the globe right now, what would your advice be to them in terms of how to not F this up as this continues to go fast?
Thank you. It's an important question. So first of all, I think it's almost impossible to keep up with any kind of regulation with the rate at which the technology is advancing. This title, The Battle for Your Brain, refers to the book that I've written on the same topic. And in it, I propose this right to cognitive liberty as a default starting place. That gives, I think, all of us a starting place for how to think about it, changing the default rules to give people a right to self-determination over their brains and mental experiences. We don't have to wait for human rights to be updated to operate as if we have cognitive liberty. And the way we do that is by recognizing, if we start by saying people have a right to freedom of thought, a right to self-determination over their brain and mental experiences, and a right to mental privacy, then when you're in the workplace and you're deciding to monitor, you're going to monitor just for fatigue levels, even though you could capture and figure out, oh, this person has amorous feelings. You're going to do data minimization and best practices that respect the autonomy of the individual. You're not going to try to disrupt their thought patterns in order to make them more productive, recognizing they have a right to freedom of thought. And so I think it's about operating as if we have those set of freedoms and liberty in every way that it's rolled out in society.
I'm speaking as a CEO. I'm sure all CEOs will use it completely responsibly. The woman in blue in the front here.
Hi, I'm Julie. I'm the world's first online harms regulator out of Australia. This was mind blowing, but you might have known that. But I do think this is an issue where we can't leave companies to their own devices on these devices. And there are principles like safety by design and privacy by design that are largely voluntary. But we just can't be sure unless there are standards and regulations that these guardrails are going to be erected, because we're still in the era of moving fast and breaking things. And I loved that you had the positive use cases, and I was just thinking with the motor neurons and people who are disabled and can wear haptic suits and you could have sensation that you've never had. But I also work with women who experience technology-facilitated abuse as a form of coercive control, and most of that is low tech. It's text, it's love bombings, it's gaslighting. Think if a perpetrator got a hold of, could really coerce the brain.
Yes.
So I do hope that you are calling for governments to think ahead and be anticipatory and start engaging, not to stop innovation, but to be responsible and ethical. And I don't know that we can rely on companies in this distributed world.
I wholeheartedly agree, right? So I'm giving you the positive use cases because what I don't want the reaction to be is let's ban this, right? But I do think that the most important thing we can do is to start with a different set of default rules. And that default rule is the right to cognitive liberty is a right of individuals, is a fundamental right to what it means to be human. And that as a starting place for the implementation of the technology is very different than how we've thought about any other technology. But I believe that the brain is so fundamental to our sense of self, and the freedom of thought is so fundamental to what it means to be able to flourish as a human being, that unless we start with the default rule, it really could become the most oppressive technology that we've ever unleashed. I don't want that, because I also think it can be the most empowering technology that we've ever realized if we do it right. But it's a call to action. It's a call to do it right now by adopting a universal right to cognitive liberty.
All right, you all, that's all I'm going to say. She kind of reminds me of Lady Gaga's face. She really does. So the right to thought, and I'm thinking within her mind, I'm reading her mind. She knows within her mind that this technology is going to turn out bad because humans love power. They love power. They love control. Power and control. But this is truly coming, and this is the World Economic Forum. Oh, well, it's over. It's at the, she was done talking anyhow. 30 minutes. They're not going to listen to you. They won't listen to you, lady. Yeah, so she has no so. Look at her eyes. It's a dark so. Well, let's look at her eyes. We can see her eyes. I can read your mind. Is that what it says? I am the eye of the sky looking for you. Let me see her eyes. Well, we can look at her eyes.
It's text, it's love bombings, it's gaslighting. Think if a perpetrator got a hold of, could really coerce the brain.
Yes.
So I do hope that you are calling for governments to think ahead and be anticipatory and start engaging, not to stop innovation, but to be responsible and ethical. And I don't know that we can rely on companies in this distributed world.
I wholeheartedly agree, right? So I'm giving you the positive use cases because what I don't want the reaction to be is let's ban this, right? But I do think that the most important thing we can do is to start with a different set of default rules. And that default rule is the right to cognitive liberty is a right of individuals, is a fundamental right to what it means to be human. And that as a starting place for the implementation of the technology is very different than how we've thought about any other technology. But I believe that the brain is so fundamental to our sense of self, and that freedom of thought is so fundamental to what it means to be able to flourish as a human being that unless we start with the default rule, it really could become the most oppressive technology that we've ever unleashed. I don't want that, because I also think it can be the most empowering technology that we've ever realized if we do it right. But it's a call to action. It's a call to do it right now by adopting a universal right to cognitive liberty.
All right, well, we are out of time, so everybody should go to dinner, go to the bar, fight for your right to cognitive liberty. That's a wrap. Thank you to Nita Farahani. That was fabulous. Thank you so much.
That's it, you all. Anita Farahani. So that's wild. I think this right here should be on news channels. Should have to air this. They really should. They air everything else that really is not telling us really what's happening. They should have to air this. I think they should cover every time the World Economic Forum has things. It should be on all the televisions. It really should. We should be able to see this stuff. That's what should be first and foremost, to let us know what the future is going to hold for humanity. That's right. Cognitive rights. Cognitive rights. Yeah, it is public knowledge, and they should use the media to give us this public knowledge, just not just to us on this YouTube channel or other people who find it on their own. They should let the people out there, the whole populace, let them decide, do we agree with this? Do we have a voice? Let us weigh in on this. This is not, you can't weigh in on this. It's already a done deal. It's a done deal. They're just telling you what is coming. It's a done deal. You did not have a say-so. You didn't. I didn't have a say-so. Because if the people had a say-so, none of this would go forward. It would not go forward. The only way you're going to have a say-so is when that technology comes to you, and they want to do that to you. They want to scan your brain. They want to look for your thoughts. They don't want to let you have freedom of thought. They want to change. They have the ability to change what you're thinking in your head. They have an ability to change this up here to make you more productive, no matter if it's going to kill your body in the process, because it really could. You could be going through a very hard day, and you may not be able to work as good as you could at your job because you got a lot of things going on in your life. Maybe you had a death of a loved one, or you're going through relationship issues and stuff, and they find that you're slowing down your productivity, and they decide, oh no, we're not going to have this. We don't care. You're going to keep that productivity up there. Oh, you're thinking bad thoughts because you're in a bad mood. Oh, well, we're going to fix that. Yeah, you are. So this is not good. That's right. More reason to believe in God, the creator of all things. That's right. Just being at the WEF already is a warning for me, you all. This is real. Oh, they did have it one time. They had it one time in the United States, and that was in 2008. That's when Barack Obama was president. The one time, and I think they had it in Pennsylvania. Was he president? Was he president in 2008? Because they did have it in 2008. And I think something happened in maybe 2000 something. Yeah, 2008 is when they had it. Let's see how long ago this was, you all. Are you ready for transparency? This just happened. It just happened in 2023. It happened on January the 19th of 2023. Are you ready? Davos, the World Economic Forum. While the promise of neural technology to gain insight into the human brain is growing, the Davos 2023 season throws light on what your brain, that's what it was. They just met this year. Yes, they did. Yes, they did. And there was many speakers from all different areas, you all. What to expect. You can look it up, but really, I really do. I'm all for airing this on public television. I think the news channels, every single news channel should have this on there. People should be required to watch what's coming out of the WEF. They should. Well, Gina, that people may not want to watch it, but they need to know. They really do need to know what's going to be going on with their brain, especially if they're going to get some new headphones from work and new earbuds. Yeah, especially if you're going to be required to wear a hat. All of that. And if AI is involved, yeah, big time. Well, we know, Amy Gill, honey. It's here, and it's up to us people to make a choice. We will have to make a choice, you all. Free will. That's right. Right now, we have free will. We have free will. It's like this woman I saw that she had wrote on the Facebook or something that 2 years ago or 3 years ago, they didn't want her working there. They didn't want her working now, but they're begging her to come back now. And she's not going back. She's not going to go back, and I don't blame her. No, you gave her a hard time all that time, and you want her back? No. It's gonna take some courage, you all. It will. Will they use smartphones? Oh, they already got that. They already got that. They do. They got smartphones and things like that. You all, they do. They got it all going on. But that's really interesting. Battle for your brain. It's like a Joyce Meyer book, Battlefield of the Mind. Yeah. They want to get inside your mind, your thoughts. There is no privacy. And really, that civics class, what if your new rulers does not think of privacy the way that you think of privacy? Do you remember that, you all? The civics class on it. Visitors from outer space. People had to choose 5 bills from the Bills of Rights, 5 that they could keep. And then they said, if you could not choose, your new ruler will choose for you, is really what it was. Your new ruler would choose for you. It said they were asked to evaluate and rank the rights protected by the Bill of Rights in a hypothetical invasion by a visitor from outer space. This only says one visitor. This only says one visitor. It doesn't say visitors. A hypothetical invasion by a visitor from outer space. And it was teaching civics. And I want to show you that one part. It was in Michigan is where it's at. Because a visitor, a hypothetical invasion by one visitor, it's not plural. Why would they say one? One is singular. Singular. One has absolute control. One visitor. Let me get to this, you all. Look, in small groups, this. Children will remind the children that they have limited time, and if they fail to choose, the visitor, capital VISITOR, from outer space will choose for them. Why would you do a hypothetical thing and only speak of one single being? One single being. Really think about it. And then they go on to say, ask if about this right here. This is acceptable if you can make. During the discussion, you can ask students to reflect on what each Bill of Rights means today and ask the new rulers, if the new rulers would have the same interpretation. For example, would the aliens understand the right to privacy in the same way that we do? Would they? Would they? Would they understand your right to privacy, your privacy of thought, the same way that you do? See, that's the thing. That was the thing, you all. It was one visitor, and then we got aliens on this earth and inside the earth and stuff like that. Yeah, so many things going on, you all. We do. We got it going on this channel. We really do. And not everybody likes this type of subject too, because it really does shed light on what's happening in the world. And it does provide some transparency to what is going on at the World Economic Forum. And I can speak about that without being rude and disrespectful and stuff. I can speak about what's going on in the world without doing a speaking down to me thing, because I can look at it and think, okay, that's not going to be too good. And I'm not going to do a name calling or none of that kind of stuff, you all. We really need to wake up. If you're not awake, this is here and it's happening in your lifetime. You're going to have to make a decision while you still are able. You can make a decision ahead of time when you see this technology is here. What will you do when it comes right down to it? Now, none of us really knows unless we're put in that situation. We can say, well, I'll do this and I'll do that. But what will we do? Really think about it. I don't like it. I don't. Hello there, Neil. If you're all just tuning in, hello. So, yeah, please give this video a thumbs up if you're watching it right now. And if you're watching it as a repeat, I know it's a long video, but it's very important. They're talking about reading your mind and your thoughts and seeing what you're thinking about and being able to get a real picture of the person in your mind that you're thinking about. This could be the most suppressing technology the world has ever seen, the lady said. She's a futurist, but it does have the potential to really better humanity. But if it falls into the wrong hands and companies use it in the wrong way, you're going to be an oppressive regime, a dictator. It'll be the worst dictator the world has ever known. The worst dictator, you all. Your memory has been erased. Oh, your memory is destroyed. They can erase your memory and put fake memories in there too. You're wearing your tinfoil bonnet. Oh, that's so wonderful, Miss K. It is. That's right. My gosh, it's 7 o'clock, you all. I am so sorry I kept you all on here. I am going to go. I probably need to get some supper. I haven't ate nothing yet. It's okay. You all, we can make it. We're not going to give up. That's why we can make it. We're not going to give up. It's good to know what's going to happen ahead of time. It is. And it's good to have a plan in your heart. It is, in your mind. That's right. And guard your thoughts. Guard your thoughts. Guard your heart. Guard it. Hold every thought captive, it says. Every single thought. Hide thy word in my heart, so that I do not sin against you. Hide your word in my heart. Embed it deep within where the enemy can't get out. It's like it's the light of love on the inside of you. That's right, you all. We can do it. We are doing it. We are. With that being said, hello, wherever you are in any part of the world. Hello. From my heart to yours, love you. Have a wonderful rest of your evening. If I don't see you later, have a wonderful rest of your evening, you all. That's right. Yeah, be safe, be aware, and it's okay. We got to make it. We are going to make it as long as we don't give up. Going to get rough and tough, but that's okay. We can do it. Love you.